What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Friday morning to you. Thank God it's Friday. Let's do it. Let's dive in. We are in Luke chapter 7 still. Yesterday we were covering the parable of the seed and the sower. But today they transition. Again, Jesus is teaching in one town and he's like, all right, we got to move on to the other one. So one day he says to his disciples, this is verse 22, let us go over to the other side of the lake. Like we're going somewhere. So they got into a boat, they set out and they sailed. But Jesus fell asleep. A squall came, like a massive storm. A squall came on the lake so that the boat was being swamped and they were in great danger. So the disciples are freaking out. They go wake up Jesus. Master, we're going to drown. And he got up and he rebuked the wind and he rebuked the raging waters. And then the storm subsided and all was calm. And then he turns to his disciples and he asks, where is your faith? And in fear and amazement, they ask one another, who is this? He even commands the winds and the water, and they obey him. There's so many good elements to this story. One of them, of course, is about fear. There's this moment here where you're talking about fishermen on a boat. This is their wheelhouse. This is where they should be experts. And yet they recognize, oh no, we're about to die. This storm, and it was common on the Sea of Galilee, a big storm would come up on you too quick and you couldn't get out of there and you didn't know it was coming. And so anyway, the disciples think they're going to drown. And so I think one of the things you want to wrestle with is that some of us have a fear of being out of control. And the reality is that control is an illusion. Like you're really not in control of very much anyway. The only thing you're really in control of is your attitude and your actions. That's really the main thing that you're in control of. And so you're not in control, but you serve the one who can command the wind and the waves. And so that's who we follow. I think that the key part, though, of course, is this one line here in verse 25, where after he rebukes the wind and the waves, he looks at the disciples, he goes, where is your faith? And so I think this is something worth unpacking because I think the other disciples tell the story a little bit differently. But this line, where is your faith? Three things I think you need that come from this story that kind of reveal to you maybe what the nature of faith looks like. Number one is this: faith is remembering what he said. The whole story starts with one day Jesus says to his disciples, hey, we're going to the other side. When the storm of life hits you, sometimes you have to go back and be like, well, what did he say? He said we were going to the other side. So number one, I need to know what Jesus has said. I need to know the promises of God. I need to know the promises that flow from the scripture so I can recall those at the moment that I need them. But the next thing is this: not only do I need to remember what he said, I need to trust what he said. The disciples in this moment should have said, hey, Jesus, before he fell asleep, said, we're going to the other side. Well, this is the one who commands demons and commands sickness and apparently even commands the wind and the waves. So if he said we're going to the other side, we are going to the other side. They weren't going to die that night if they just truly trusted what he said. And then third thing is, so number one is this: faith is remembering what he said, then it's trusting what he said, and then thirdly, it's acting like what he said was true. If you find yourself in a boat that's sinking, I need you to start bailing water. I mean, the answer is not to check out and do nothing. No, act as if what Jesus said were true. And what I think that means is this: you need to do everything that you can do, but pray that God does what only he can do, right? Some of us, I think, in our Christian walk, when we come up against obstacles or problems or whatever, we pull back and pray, but then wait just for God to do everything. And actually, when you see people in the Bible and you see the miraculous, you almost always see a human participating, doing something, sometimes even setting it in motion. And so what I want to encourage you to do, if you ever find yourself in the boat of life that is sinking, hey, you need to bail water. You still got to get the sails up. You need to work. And again, do whatever you can do. I said it like this. Somebody was telling me the other day about how they had lost their job and they were praying for a job. And I said, okay, well, other than praying, what are you doing for a job? And they're like, oh, I'm doing this, that. Good. Like, you should be praying that God opens up doors. But at the same time, you better tidy up your resume and you better get some contacts and you better make some phone calls and you better go hit the pavement and do whatever you can do. Because I think when you do what you can do and then you really trust God to do what only he can do, That's where you find breakthrough. So let us be a people of faith. As we think about our life, there are going to be storms. I promise you there are. And if you're not in one now, give it 6 months. The little storm, big storm, storms are coming. How will we respond to those? I want to remember what Jesus said. I want to trust in what he said. And then I'm going to go act like what he said was true. So I need to get to work. Church, I love you so much. God bless you. Have an amazing weekend, but I will see you on Sunday. And there is a special, I'm going to leave it at that. There's something special this Sunday that you don't want to miss out on. It will be a brand new first for our church. So anyway, church, I love you so much. God bless you. And I will see you on Sunday.